Now, Bob Brown took on the media this week, or the media took on Bob Brown. I'm not sure which is the most applicable, but let's have a look at part of what happened in one of the courtyards in Parliament House. It seems that some of them were offended by his, constant description of News Limited as the hate media.
Some heat needs to go back onto those sections of the media which are trying to drag this process down. And that's very clear, that's what's happening. You look at the front page of some of the papers today and the commentary on this process, and it's not balanced, it is opinionated, it's not news. But look, you have your snappies every day. You compare and contrast and take on politicians and other sections of the media, but you don't like it when we take you on. Don't be so tetchy. My job is to get outcomes. If I was to take on the media every day about some peccadillo...
But you virtually do. You come out here every day and you do take it on the media. The media that you don't like.
Look, don't get too upset. This is just part of the democratic discourse.
Really?
Yeah. Yes, it is. Fair dinkum. Don't be so unhappy. Don't be so much on the back foot.
I'm not unhappy.
Oh,
you just come out here every day and you just bag out the Murdoch press or any media that you don't like, and you call them the hate press.
But the Murdoch press comes out every day and bags out the Greens.
Great stuff. So who has the glass jaw, Bob Brown or the media?
Look, everybody's a little bit right and a little bit wrong, I think. You know, I mean, he's right that there certainly have been sections of News Limited that take one particular view about this debate, and it's usually a view that's anti-Green and sometimes anti-Labor, but it's certainly opposed to him.
I don't agree with that.
I think he makes a fair point, but I don't think I don't think he made it well, and I think doing your block and starting to come out talking about the hate media doesn't play well. He reckons, and the Greens reckon, they're getting good feedback, but I suspect they're getting good feedback from the already converted, and I just don't know how well...
I'm not so sure about that, because I think when Lindsay Tanner wrote the piece that he did, the media was way too sensitive to criticism. Not enough people came behind him and said, well, yeah, fair cop. They tended to challenge him on it. Nikki?
For the first time ever, the Greens are being held to account for their policies, and they don't like it. And it wasn't just the Australian. I mean, what really got to him, I think, was 7:30, Chris Uhlmann's interview on coal. And I think it was partly clever on Bob's part the next day to divert attention from all that and try and put it back on the media. But why shouldn't he be subjected to that kind of criticism? I mean, he's a partner in the government.
Absolutely.
He's going to be responsible for some huge decisions. Well, he should be made to explain. And, that's the media's job.
Chief Media Advisor took to Twitter, I gather, yesterday and made a couple of personal attacks against journalists, which, as I read this morning, she's now had to retract. But one of them was against Chris Uhlmann, and it was probably a little bit personal, related to the fact that his wife is a Labor MP. Yeah. So that is sort of playing the man and not the ball in a sense, and maybe they've retracted that a bit. Yeah, they deserve to be put under pressure. They deserve to have their issues challenged and their views challenged.
You know?
Yeah, but then again, I mean, politicians are accountable, and every day Bob Brown is out there taking the questions. The media, on the other hand, take very strong stance, and they're not accountable. You can't question the media, and I can see where the frustration comes from.
You can choose how you consume the media, though. I mean,
you can do that.
You can buy newspapers or not buy newspapers, or turn television news bulletins off, or whatever you want to do. I mean, I think there's a similarity between what Joe Hockey said to Andrew Probyn and what Bob Brown's saying, and that is this sort of tendency to try and intimidate the media into just slavishly covering things the way you want them to do it, by suggesting that if they're critical, then they're barracking for the other side. I mean, being lectured on being biased by people who are professionally biased, it doesn't cut any ice with me.
Bruce Guthrie wrote a piece in one of the Fairfax papers this morning, and he was a former Murdoch editor, but he says that there was this meeting only a week or two ago in the United States, Murdoch with some of the editors, and he thinks he might have sent out a signal then, and the editors got the message, and the message is that Murdoch is backing Abbott.
He didn't seem to know exactly where this meeting was, so it sounded like he wasn't 100% sure that it had taken place. But he was suggesting that it had been made known, not in a direct instruction or anything like that, but sort of, I think he said, over coffee in the lunch break or something like that.
I think in government they know where the meeting was held, because, as I understand it, the Prime Minister phoned one of the editors at one stage and caught him on the mobile phone at the ranch, at the ranch in the United States.
Well, that's why I say I think everyone's a little bit right in this. I think there probably is. That if you read all the News Limited papers, they do tend to take one position more often.
No, you can't say that.
So
about
not all.
them.
The Adelaide Advertiser has taken a different position.
Well, no, I'm not just saying the Adelaide Advertiser. The Sunday Telegraph took a different position at the election, as I understand it. And
a lot of the News Limited papers have tended to take one position, but I just don't know whether it's very smart for Bob Brown to be handling it the way that he is.
OK, well, more with our panel shortly. Karen Middleton, Mark Kenny and Nikki Savva. But now here's Mike Bowers and Talking Pictures.